And we're now live. What's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, doing a special show today. Thankfully, our guests could come today instead of this weekend. We got Adam Hinkle. Hopefully, I said that correctly.
Yeah, you got it. You're on it, Steven.
All right. Yeah, from the new movie Haunt House, Dread Central Presents. We'll get into that a little bit, but thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I am super excited to be here talking with you and talking about haunt season. This is just the best way I want to spend my day. So thank you and your audience for indulging me.
Yes, 'tis the season. It's almost Halloween. Pretty much it's like Halloween Eve in September, I think. Even though I watch horror movies all along, can officially go down the whole month. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. I probably start as early as August, July myself. So yeah, it's I think the year knows no bounds for me with horror movies. To be quite honest, I'm just such a fan, and I'm just even luckier that I got to be in one. So it's a blessed life.
Oh, for sure. So where did you grow up? And obviously you like horror. Do you have any inspiration that made you want to do this?
Yeah, well, I think your first question, I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia around the Lansdale area. Technically, they grew up in Hatfield, but then I moved out to Chicago roughly around 2007 to do theater and film, and here we are. I'm super lucky there. I would say as far as inspirations go, that's a really good question. I would probably say I was definitely inspired to want to do horror by classic 80s horror films like Nightmare on Elm Street. The Nightmare on Elm Street series easily is up there as far as it because that actually Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was the first horror movie that I had seen, and I saw it at a really early age, and it kind of messed me up a little bit. In a good way, but just because I love horror and I've kind of been fascinated by it, since I was a kid. But I would want to say watching the Nightmare on Elm Street series, Friday the 13th, Halloween, big franchises, really, I think. And when I got a little bit older, the Scream franchise was definitely one that stuck with me as well. So I think just being, exposed to those when I was young really just made me, want to do horror movies. I think, as probably many of my contemporaries as well, I would say.
Nice. Let's see. It looks like we got about 4 people watching. Anthony just came in. He's up to his 2005 memoirs. Yeah, he always comes in here and 8 Question with. He's a good supporter there.
That's great.
So thanks for joining us. So yeah, since Halloween's always been a big thing, you have any favorite costumes when you were growing up?
Oh, I probably would say my Freddy Krueger outfit, and if we're staying consistent here, I'd say my Freddy Krueger costume was probably one of my favorites growing up. And I had several. I mean, I think I remember my mother used to make costumes for us here and there. She made us crayon outfits when I was really young. I'm trying to remember what other outfits there were, but I probably think Freddy Krueger was probably the most memorable for me, I would say.
Definitely. That's definitely one of my favorites too. Freddie, Jason. You got to go. I mean, it's classics.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Tommy Martin is in here. How are you?
Tommy is awesome. By the way, anybody who's watching this, Tommy is also in haunt season. He is hilarious. You have to check out his performance. He is so funny and so good. Tommy, I love you, bud.
Who was he again? I can sort of see his picture. Which character was he in haunt season?
He plays Walt. He plays Walt. Walt is one of the he's one of the actors that works in the escape room in the film, and shows up at one of the Halloween parties that takes place in the film. He's just so funny. He's so funny, and so it's just like a gem. His performance. It's so.
I think I remember that part now. Yeah, I just from the picture, it was hard for me to see who it was there, but yes. So, well, welcome. He said, "You're too nice. Love you, brother." It's Walt season, baby.
Yeah. He and I just come up with so many jokes, just trying to figure out a way when we were like really trying to market the film and really push it and get the word out on social media. He just had so many funny ideas about making his character Walt like a thing, and it's just been so funny. He came up with all of these alternative titles, trying to come up with an entire cinematic universe based around his character. It just was so funny. So Walt Season was definitely one of the titles that he came up with, and it's been so great being able to do this and go through this process with him and work with him. He's just a wonderful guy.
Kind of like a multiverse of characters. That's what he was trying to come up with.
Yeah, it's crazy wild the amount of stuff that he has come up with, and both of us have come up with together. Just jokes based on his character alone. It's just great. But his performance is so good. So you got to check him out. You have to check him out.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone who's watching this, be sure to check it out. I'm sure I guess the Blu-ray's out too for Dread Central Presents. I think I didn't check if that, but it's streaming. I know that
it's definitely streaming. It's streaming anywhere you get your movies: Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play. Anywhere you can watch movies, Haunt Season's going to be available. We don't have a Blu-ray quite yet. I don't know if that's going to be in the works, but hopefully if the movie does well enough, maybe we might be able to see a Blu-ray someday. So everybody, if you can, support Haunt Season. Help us get to that Blu-ray.
Yeah, because I know that Dread Presents, they have those numbered Dread Presents. I got some of them. I haven't caught up with them recently, but I think they even had Terrifier was one of them. They did a Dread Presents and stuff like that, and Uncle Peckerhead was one of them, I think, and a whole bunch of good ones. Yeah, Dread has some good stuff. So
they do. It's been great being on the Dread label for this. They've been really wonderful.
And let's see, my mom's in here too. She said, "Nice to meet you."
Hi, Peggy. Great to meet you too. Thanks for tuning in.
So, yep, she always tunes in as well. So,
great,
Tommy, Anthony. All right. So, yep. Anyone else says anything, I'll do that. So you always, been into acting, everything. So I'm assuming in school you did plays, TV production, that type of programs or classes.
Yeah, actually, I kind of did a little bit of both. Before I even got into acting, I was actually really into writing. I wrote a lot of short stories as a kid. And then one day, when I was 11 years old, my father brought home a video camera, and ostensibly just to be used for taping like family events and things like that. So my brothers and I, we just basically co-opted this camera and just would make like our own little movies, which were really just kind of like rip-offs of like big budget studio films at the time, along with like little stories that we came up with. And we got really into it. We really just loved making our own movies, and we really endeavored to try to make them bigger and better, with each successive film that we had made. And my brother Brian and I really, found a love of acting, and so we started getting involved in school plays when we were in elementary school. And we were actually really lucky that we were able to get enrolled in a broadcasting arts school, which is no longer around, called Cinekid, in Pennsylvania. And we learned how to, it was basically a program that helped kids who were interested in the broadcasting arts to basically teach them how to make TV shows and how to act on camera. And it was actually really wonderful that we were exposed to that as early as we were. And then we got into high school and started doing high school plays and really took the craft of acting really seriously. And we were involved in our high school's thespian troupe, and we went to state conferences, international conferences, and then we ended up graduating high school and we majored in theater in college. And so it has been a part of my life for so long now, and I'm just really blessed that I found what I wanted to do in life so early on, because that's not everybody's story. And I'm just really lucky that I just found something that I can just put my heart and my passion into.
A little bit there, I could hear you. I don't know if it's my volume or if you were a little low. I mean, I heard you somewhat okay, but it seemed a little low.
Okay.
People in the chat, were you able to hear that okay? Or was that just my computer?
Yeah, I could also speak up too. I can definitely do that.
Oh, there we go. That was loud there. Yeah, that sounded good there.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
That's good.
Cool,
Sorry.
awesome.
Yeah, but I heard about the plays and stuff though, so that's really cool that you guys did that. And I was in ITS thespian and did all that in school and stuff, so that was always fun to do. Musicals, I just helped out backstage. I'm not a singer, just an actor. So, but
I'm not either. I never got
uh,
cast in a singing role. My singing voice is terrible, Stephen. I completely empathize with you there. I'm not a singer, never will be. I'm just very, very lucky that I've been able to be cast, despite my lack of a singing voice. So I'm right there with you.
so it was fun though. I did what was it, Cinderella, and where the one scene I was just like one of the dancers, but everybody's supposed to be singing, so I'm like lip syncing it, and my partner, she was like trying not to laugh. And every time we get off stage, she's like, "That's great." She's like, "It's the funniest thing." You're just like, oh, I'm like, "Yep, I was that and a horse." So that was it, but it was fun though. I like. Yeah, I mean the whole atmosphere and being with other actors. I mean, as you know, it's always a good time, regardless of what part you can do. Let's see, Kal-El is here. Yep, early show today.
So. Yeah, thanks for being here, Kal-El. I really appreciate it. I know this is sort of outside the normal scope of what you're usually up to, so I appreciate everybody that's tuning in right now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I appreciate you working around your schedule. If anyone can come, I can. Whatever. A show's a show.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
So yeah, you got in writing all that. I was looking through your IMDb and I noticed, I guess you wrote and did a show called The Park. Is there anywhere we can watch that or on any streaming service or anything?
Yes. Well, actually, this one is available for free actually on Vimeo. You can actually stream the show through our website at www.theparkwebseries.com if you're interested in taking a look at it. I really love it. It's the only project that I've is actually my co-writing and directing debut as a filmmaker. I had a good friend of mine named Travis Williams, who is a phenomenal writer. He and I both developed this web series together about a group of outreach workers that are trying to prevent gun and gang violence in Chicago. And it was, again, this is a whole 180 away from haunt season, but years ago, I was part of a theater company that was devoted to providing affordable theater for the north side of Chicago. And a lot of the work that we did revolved around, we tried to produce work that was in some way relevant to some issue that was going on the north side of Chicago, whether that had to deal with it deals with education, violence prevention, mental health justice, and a lot of the work that we were doing was with community organizers, so we could get an idea of like how what issues were going on and how we could best articulate what was going on through our work. And a lot of the work that we did was working with violence prevention specialists and who basically worked with a lot of vulnerable communities and populations, trying to basically tamp down on gun and gang violence. And we were very lucky that our community really welcomed us in with open arms. And over a period of years, we were just doing a lot of outreach and working with them on various campaigns. And we were able to tell the story in a way that I think had a lot of authenticity to it, because of the people who were involved in consulting us on our work. And it was probably one of the best creative experiences I ever had in my life. And I suggest anybody who is interested in sort of getting an idea of what violence prevention looks like, especially in the city of Chicago, to check it out. I definitely we have a wonderful cast. They did a phenomenal job. Our community partners who helped us, put this together. We have links to Cure Violence on our website as well, in case you want to support the work being done across the country. And yeah, it was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. That's for sure. Because again, it was the first project that I ever had written and directed, and I'm really, really proud of it. So if you all feel like supporting, please go to www.theparkwebseries.com if you wanted to give it a look.
Yeah. There's a knock on my door here. Shoot, hold on just a minute. I'm so sorry. This is
It's cool. You're a man in demand.
gosh, really didn't need that right now. But anyway,
It's all right. Hey, it's live. It's just this stuff happens. It's all good.
it's live. Well, it looks like a couple more people joined in while I was away, so maybe they're just here for you. uh, anyway, yeah. So for that show and everything, I'll go ahead and you can send it to me, and I'll put it in the description and everything. So
thank you. That's very sweet of you.
Let's see. Tommy wants to know, what was your favorite moment on set?
Anything involving Tommy Martin, actually. It's really hard for me to pinpoint what my favorite moment on set was, because there were so many. There was just so many fun scenes that we were able to film, and it was a really light, jovial atmosphere. But if I had to choose one out of many, it was probably I think the scene at there's a scene that I did with actress Sarah Elizabeth, who plays Matilda, the lead in the movie, where this is her first night in the haunt, and she and I are just kind of BSing while we're waiting for customers to come pouring in, and then we do this little slow motion montage. And there was one point when we were filming this montage where the director was Jake was asking us, just dance in this one, just dance in this take, see what happens. And I just kind of let loose and just did this little do this little twisty turny little dance, just letting my body flow into it. Did a little MC Hammer back and forth, it was just kind of ridiculous and fun. That was probably one of my favorite. That's probably just one of my favorite moments, because it was just so goofy, and I was just letting my freak flag fly. That was definitely one of them. It was just so much fun. The whole shoot, it was just it's easily one of the most fun things I've ever done, and that was probably one of the most fun moments. So, great question, Tommy.
What's funny is you mentioned a dancing scene there. Was there actually music playing, or was that added in later? Because when I was an extra in Never Back Down, they didn't play the music. They was like, just dance. We're gonna throw in music later, and everybody's like, okay. So they don't know what they're dancing to. Did you have that experience?
That's a good question. I feel like it was so long ago. I can't remember if there was some. I think there was music playing, because I don't think we had plans to use the audio from that specific take. So I think there might have been music playing, because Tommy was actually really good at getting behind the scenes footage of us while we were filming. So I'm pretty sure they did have something playing. I was probably very inspired by what I was listening to. So I'm willing to bet there was. Okay. I remember correctly, but I think there was.
Okay, because I think there was some music playing, then they stopped and they said, just keep doing it and we'll add in the rest later. And everybody was kind of confused. They were just like, okay, we're just doing our own thing, whatever. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had something going on that in that.
Okay. It's like you need a little help to go to at least an idea anyway. So I mean, it's I can improv, but that's a little some body prov there, I guess. I don't know what you would call that.
Body prov, yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. I had a lot of body prov going on that tape, so yeah, that was pretty fun. But yeah, filmmaking, it's quite the thing, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's like being on set, and from watching it and seeing the process, it's always an amazing thing to go through. Get the view of everything different, fight scenes, the camera helmets they had on, the road looked like they had a mat that looked exactly like the road and everything, slow motion, and then you watch it didn't seem like it was moving that fast. But
it is crazy, the disconnect between what you notice on set when you're actually in the throes of it, and then what the final product looks like. Sometimes it's just so jarring, because you can feel one way while you're doing it, and then when you're actually watching, it's oh wow, I didn't just feels so different from what I remember. It's
It's
just
like so
amazing.
surreal. It's like a surreal moment after when you're watching it. It's like amazing work.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
on anything, did any of your own stunts that you did, or that you can tell us, or did you have a stunt double for anything, or it was all you?
All of the actors that were there basically were doing their own thing. I mean, we were very very small. We're a
Mhm.
very very small, but very ambitious independent production. So we all definitely, it was just what you see on screen is that was all of us. So
Mhm.
so now we it was it, yeah, yeah, we did. I'm sure that if we needed it, I'm sure that the production would have looked into it. But I think that everything was on a scale for all of the actors that everything was pretty doable from a physical standpoint.
Yeah.
So no, everybody just kind of did their own thing. On set, we were pretty we were pretty lucky in that regard.
Yeah, because I mean, there were like, of course, I guess like some fight scenes and running away, but yeah, most of it seems like could possibly do without a stunt, actor. I think so. Wasn't anything like Indiana Jones or Tom Cruise or
Oh,
coming
of
out going
course,
up
yeah. We're
planes.
not we're not flying, out of airplanes and or doing any kind of stunt driving or anything like that. So we had it. It was pretty nice and simple and contained at the haunt. So I think that made it very easy for everybody. So
Yeah.
so
Um, when you got the script, or when you get any script, what attracts you to the project, to your character?
I think it just depends on like the quality of the writing is a big one, because as an actor you want to do something that you really connect to, and when the project is well written and the characters are very fleshed out and have a specific point of view, it just makes the job a lot easier for the actor. And I think what I really liked about the character of Danny was, not only was the script really well written. I thought Jake did a phenomenal job putting this together. I really liked Danny was just a wise ass. and that's and I'm kind of a secret wise ass. I feel like I'm kind of nice and jovial, like generally speaking, but I have like a streak in me. Like I have a little bit of a secret, like I'm a little bit of a secret dick. And Danny was very much like just she was just very much a wise ass, and I think that was one of the things that just really stuck out at me when I first read it. I thought that would just be so much fun to play, because I don't really get opportunities like that very often to play like that kind of a character. So I think that's probably what stood out initially, was just like he was just a sarcastic wise ass. I really I just dug that about him.
Mhm. Yeah, it's fun to get those type of roles because you try to be polite in real life, but then you get that chance to be someone totally different. Like when you get into that, like, what's your process, your mindset into getting into it, or like other, whether it be real life encounters you wish you could act out, or other inspiration? How does that work for you?
I think that I think there is a piece of it that feels very much like that's the person that I kind of wish I had like the confidence to be in my overall day to day. So there is a piece of it that I'm kind of getting to live out this and play this character that has this quality that I kind of that I probably should be a little bit more you know I don't know. Like there's just a piece about it that I always have like, because I think if I was the same kind of level of smart ass that he was in like my day to day, I would probably turn off a lot of people. So there is something that feels very cathartic, being able to like play these parts of my personality that I don't necessarily like bring out that much. But I think doing it in a way that feels like very grounded and very real to me. Yeah, and I think that that also came across in like the writing. I feel like the writing, definitely had a very like conversational, off the cuff kind of quality about it that I felt like I was able to really like latch onto when we were filming. And also, I think another thing that played into it too was it's just an aspect of like the process and what we went through. Jake was an incredible director, and that he would let us go off and improvise a bit, and that was also very freeing too, because it was, there, we still would go by the script, but then there were times where we would just add in little, like, little comments here and there, just, little gems when we were just like in a bit of a flow, that also made it feel really, like grounded and very real. And I love being able to work like that. It's not something that I've always it wasn't until I think with the last like several years that I've really embraced improvising when I can, because it is just so fun and so freeing, and just like you get some real gems that can come out of that if you just like let yourself go, and you're just really calm and very relaxed, and like some magic can happen with it. So I think that's also a part of the process that I really enjoyed and really appreciate when I'm given that opportunity by a director. And Jake absolutely did. He embraced it 100%, and he wasn't precious with everything that he wrote. There were some things where he was like, yes, I really need you to like stick to this line, because I love this line, or this is like helpful just in terms of like, you know, the plot, and and the story development. But there were so many times where he would just let the cast go, and it was just awesome. It was just like, it's a way I love to work, and I'm so glad that Jake was down with it.
And that actually was answered my question. I was going to be like, so were you allowed to improv at all? But you answered all that together.
I was. And there were times where it wasn't always appropriate. Like, there were things that came out of my mouth, and Jake would be like, that's a little too much. I don't think Danny would go there. Or it just wasn't like 100% appropriate for where we were like at. So he definitely gave us a bit of like structured freedom, where he was like, this is kind of the boundaries that we're working within. And there were moments where he would like love what I was doing, and then he would be like, oh, that's probably a little too much of a step in this one direction, you probably got to pull it back a little bit. So rightfully so. But yeah, it was just, oh, I just look back on it now, like I'm just thinking about certain scenes where I just kind of just went off, and moments that I probably took things a little bit too far. And but that's just kind of like how you kind of figure out where that line is sometimes you're just you'll have a take where you do something that's probably a little much in one direction, and you got the director, they know what they're doing, they'll help like rein you back in a little bit. So yeah, it just, I love it. I love Haunt Season so much, Steven. It's just so great. Oh, it looks like your mom's asking a question.
Yeah. What are your top 3 favorite characters from scary movies other than your own?
Oh, top 3 favorite characters from scary movies. It's probably going to be a bit of a limited list because there's so many great ones that I haven't seen yet. But I would have to say top 3 characters from scary movies. Oh man, that's hard. I really, I probably have to say, oh, that's a great question, Peggy. I think Freddy Krueger, for one. I just feel like there hasn't been anything like him, especially at the time that series was really like at the height of its game. There wasn't really anything like Robert Englund, and it's been kind of hard finding something that really kind of like hit that same level since. So I'd say probably Robert Englund is one of them. I think another one would probably be Matthew Lillard. I love so much in Scream.
Yeah.
Because this is something where it wasn't until like listening to the audio commentary of Scream like years ago that you realize like what the lines were improvised on his end that were just brilliant. Like he was just so good, and I think that's probably one of the earliest performances in horror that I remember regarding, and just feeling like, oh my god, this is just like too good. This is just like way too good to be just like scripted.
And he really got hit with the phone too. Sorry to interrupt you, but he really hit him with the phone. That's why he was like, "You hit me with the phone, Dick." Like that wasn't supposed to be in the movie, and it was.
Exactly. That was one of those lines where I'm like, "Oh my god, it just feels too it feels too good." And so I think that like he was able to combine this. He was just really funny, but also just like he was also like just really, just balls to the wall. Like I love his performance. I thought it was so good. And I think third, this is such a hard list. Peggy, great question. I think my last one would probably be. Oh man, this is so hard. Oof. Man, this is tough. You're gonna be like sitting here like waiting for me to come up with an answer for a while. Okay.
Well, if it comes back to you.
Okay. So I will nail down to this next one. No, after this interview, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, I should have said like this person in this movie, or this person in this movie.
There's so many. I agree with those two for sure. Have you got a chance to meet either of them at conventions or anything yet, or you haven't?
No, I would be such a I'd be a mess if I got to meet either of them. That just sounds like that would be so much fun. But no, I actually haven't even been to a horror convention before.
Oh my gosh, they're awesome. So, yeah, I've been lucky enough to meet both Matthew and Robert a couple of times. And Matthew Lillard, he's a hugger. He'll just come up in line. He's like, yeah, I mean, he appreciates his fans and everything. He's a great person.
I love that. I actually saw, I don't know if it was a horror con this year recently, but I remember something went around that popped up in my Instagram feed. And it was him talking about some of his like favorite performances. I think when he was talking about Scream and SLC Punk, he had like answered like a question from an audience member that I thought was just so endearing and so lovely. And I can't remember exactly. I think it was like how he got into like the flow of the character. I think he had a hard day filming, wasn't quite there, and then he had like a take that just was like boom, just like things just came together.
Oh, that long or like he told that story of it that like it's like thank you so much for asking that. Like it really got to him. Like it was a really good question. I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the question, but that was like.
Yeah, I think it was just how he was able to like. I think he had to be emotional. I think in a scene, and
that's what it was.
Yeah, and I thought that was just his answer was just beautiful, and I just loved it, and I just like it. Yeah, it was so tenderhearted that I'm like, man, I just love you, Matthew Lillard. That's so great.
And Robert, like he's like usually like so many people in his line, and it takes forever. But he like he wants to talk to people, and he's like, I don't care. He's like, yeah, it keeps going. And the first time I met him, I think it was like 2007 or 6. It was when there was this one convention that's not around anymore. They just did like a couple of shows, but it was cool. Like he let me come back behind the table and take a picture with them, and like I mean, he was awesome. Like,
that's very endearing when you see, when you have actors that really do appreciate their fans and their friends, people who come to these conventions. It's just really, really endearing. And I love hearing that, because you hear all the stories about like, never meet your heroes because you're going to be disappointed. And it's just really cool that when you have really ultra talented people who are also just super nice, it just restores your faith in,
I mean, it's like there might be a couple out there you might not want to be, but mostly a majority of almost everyone in the horror community. I mean, they're pretty much everybody's pretty cool. I mean, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd. I mean, all of them. So
yeah, I believe it. Well, you would know. You've met, I'm sure, more than your fair share. So.
Oh my God, I've been going to conventions since I was 14. So yeah, over 20 years, probably 22 years of conventions. Yeah.
So. Lucky guy.
So many stories, but that'll be another show. I don't want to take up your time on me, but I mean, it's some good stuff. So
totally.
One of the best things I'll tell you, and then we can move on. But Days of the Dead, one of my favorite ones was Kane. I'd known from other conventions. He introduced me to Felissa Rose. Tony Todd was there. What's his name from Phantasm? He passed away, the tall man.
Angus Scrimm.
He went to bed early, but we stayed up till like 3-4 in the morning after the bar closed. Felissa Rose, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, and a few of other us. Best experience. It was the night before the convention. Best experience I'll never forget. I mean,
that's a hell of a triumvirate there. We got Tony Todd, Felissa Rose, and
Kane Hodder.
like I just that blows my mind. Like that's so cool. Like to be a fly in the wall for that conversation. It should have been insane.
Like, I even have this one picture where me and Felicity are coming out like 3 a.m. in the hotel. We're like, just goofing around. And I told her, I won't show anyone the picture. And she goes, oh, no, it's funny. Who cares? I don't care. So I'm like, because, I do respect people if they don't want anything going, whatever. But it was funny, though. She was like, yeah, share it. It's funny.
That's so cool. She sounds so awesome. I mean, just watching her in interviews and stuff, I just, like, she seems like really cool. I mean, I've seen probably more than my fair share of horror movie documentaries, and I feel like she's been in.
She's another one that loves her fans and talking and appreciates everybody. She's got like I don't know how many movies she said. She was on the Chainsaw Awards. I don't have Shudder right now, but a friend was showing me part of it. They actually had a Felissa Rose category where it was she got the award, but it was for her different movies. And she's like, "Oh, Felissa Rose for I forget which movie she had won it for, but it was funny though." I'm like, "Yeah, she deserves it though. She's cool. She needs a Chainsaw."
Absolutely. I mean, she's Sleepaway Camp. You don't have to say anything more than that.
Yeah, and she still does the perfect face too. And that's not a spoiler, people. If you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp, where have you been? Sleeping? Come on.
Yeah, really. It's been decades now. Let's come on. And yeah, she's that last. Yeah, I'm not going to ruin anything myself because I'm so anti-spoiler. Even if there's like movies that have been out, like I refuse. I don't want to ruin somebody else's experience who has not seen it yet. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. Just go watch Sleepaway Camp, everybody.
One of my favorites of hers. So, but yeah, the Chainsaw. Who knows? Maybe Haunt next year might be up for a Chainsaw Award. I thought it was good enough to get a Chainsaw Award for sure. So
I mean, I'm terribly partial myself. I really do. I really love Haunt Season, and just on so many levels. I really do feel like Jake did a wonderful job executing it, putting it together. I feel that it definitely feels more of a throwback horror movie because I love the genre, and I feel like what I love about Haunt Season is that it kind of brings elements from a lot of late 70s, early 80s slasher movies where you had characters that you really do care about that are a bit fleshed out, that have some personality to them. And just kind of watching them, get thrown into a horrible situation is just just seeing how they respond and who gets picked off is just I feel like it raises the stakes, and I feel like Haunt Season just has so many great performances. Like we're so blessed with such an amazing cast. Like everybody from the leads to even the small peripheral characters, like they all have presence, and I think that's a really, really we lucked out. We lucked out in a big way, and I'm just so grateful to be part of a cast where everybody was just awesome. And the characters are also distinctive, and I just feel like that's something that was part of like the horror movies that I saw when I was a kid. Just the characters that you want to care about. So I'm just really blessed that I got to be a part of that.
So I'm sure outside of acting, you enjoy going to haunted houses, and what do you think the attraction is for people to be scared?
It's really funny because I have not been to that many haunted houses, but because I honestly get I went through Realm of Terror, which is the haunted house that we filmed at. It's a wonderful haunted house. It's easily one of the best in the Midwest. And you don't need me to tell you that. I think just do a Google search and Google will tell you. But I actually had a hard time. Like I actually never even walked through the haunt. I actually was given a walkthrough by one of our production designer, Nick Weber. Actually took a few people through it, and just to kind of show them what the experience was like. And even that felt like that was scary. That was without all of the lights and the makeup and all the other actors, and it was just really it was just creepy. It was a bit claustrophobic. So I probably wouldn't do well going through an actual haunted house. There's just something about it. Like if I get into little small quarters, or if I can in an area I can't find my way out of, I just start to get a little anxiety. I think I am a little claustrophobic. So I don't know if I would actually be very good at doing it, but I think the allure for haunted houses, it's very much it's it's like thrilling and scary, but it's in like a safe environment, in a contained environment. And I think that's why we like horror movies and why we go to see scary movies, is that we're going because they really get you to react. Horror movies, haunted houses, and I think that it's a safe way to kind of like to be scared, and I think that's why they have such an allure, and why it's something we love to do, every Halloween. It's just a very visceral experience, and it's one that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel too. So I think that's probably why people love them. And there are a lot of like adrenaline junkies out there, people who just want to have a scare and have a good time. And I think that's why they've lasted for so long. And even Realm of Terror, this is their 22nd year in business. It's a labor of love by Steve Kristoff, and God bless him. And and it's not easy. It's not easy to put something together that is authentically frightening. And I just give credit to all of the haunt actors and all of the haunted houses out there that are doing this thing this Halloween. It's just so much fun. It's just thrill. It's really, I think that's why.
Since acting in a haunted house, would you want to be a real scare actor during the holiday?
Oh, I you know it, I haven't really. I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know if I maybe it's not something I have actively thought about, but um, I yeah, maybe I maybe could do it. I feel like it's just looking at what we went through, just the actors like going through and doing the haunt acting. Like I can see why it would be pretty exhausting. You're doing that like I think it was Rosemary, the character had said, instead of doing like such and such amount of performances a week, it's like you're doing like 40 performances in a night. Like that sounds exhausting. That sounds so exhausting to me. But I could probably see myself doing it. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I might, but I don't know. It really depends on, I guess, on what role I was playing, and like that might actually, because if it was something where I'd have to wear like you know I to wear like a huge outfit, masks, or something that was just I don't know, that might give me some pause. It really depends. It depends
Yeah,
on the
something that
role.
might like overheat you after a while. Be like, "Oh, this is kind of hot." Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. That might play into it. My general level of comfort, or like what room I was in, and the kind of role that I was playing. So that might sway me one way or the other. I don't know. It's a good question though.
Yeah. Of course, no spoilers in the movie. But if you were to be killed in a movie, how would you like to be killed?
Oh man, another good question. I could probably. I would love to just. I don't know. Maybe be like. Uh, you know, Steve at the beginning of Scream, just be like disemboweled. That might be a fun one. Uh, Maybe a death that was just really just like uh, brutal and slow. I would guess, like if I had gotten like I don't know, like, something where you could just like really like act the crap out of it. I guess nothing quick, nothing quick. I don't think.
So something gory, like in Terrifier, or
Super gory.
Terrifier 2, or something like that.
Yeah, I would probably choose something that is just like something that was very shocking for an audience to see. I think that would probably, where I do a lot of suffering. I don't know, maybe. I think that would probably be it. It's just like the gorier the better. I think that would probably be my benchmark for how I would want to die in a horror movie if I did.
Just be bathed in blood, whatever.
I just because those are the ones like those are the deaths that like you remember in horror movies. Like I still remember, like the first movie that really messed me up that I seen was Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and I just like I saw it at a really young age, so that was
Yeah, Dream Warriors, right?
yeah, Dream Warriors. So
Yeah.
like there were deaths in that movie that just like stuck with me for a really long time. And I think looking back, like as an actor, you would want to be in a death scene that was like just gruesome and memorable. If those were my benchmarks for how I'd want to go, that would be it.
I can't remember if it was Dream Warriors or the other one, but where the one kid was the puppeteer, and his skin got.
Yes, that was Dream Warriors.
It was Dream Warriors, yeah.
It's just even this to this day, I will watch that, and I just watching like the tendons and just it's it was so brilliantly executed that it still just gives me goosebumps when I watch it like to this day because you could just like feel it in your bones. It's just yes, I would want that one.
That was a good one. It's like I mean, like I could feel it. Like you said, you can feel it. It's in your mind, like being pulled. Like oh my gosh, my tendons is being ripped
Like
out.
even now, I cringe just sitting here thinking about it, Steven. Yeah.
You're,
So, yeah, something like that, or even like in part four, you have like the character of Debbie, how she turns into a cockroach.
how she
Oh
passed under her
man, just yeah, like that stuff. Oh, it just gets me going.
Yep. Yeah, or the movie The Fly.
Oh, the fly. That's another great performance. I think that. All right, I'll have that be number three. I'm gonna say Jeff Goldblum in the fly. Like just his transformation. I feel like is definitely probably one of the best like scary performances I would say because it's yeah. All right, way to bring that one up. That's a great horror performance right there. I
Yeah,
love it.
yes, okay, yes. Give me credit. My mom was saying that, like, give me credit for like, yes, The Fly. She mentioned that. Yeah.
All right, well,
Have you seen Mr. Frost that he did where he was deaf?
no,
It's an older movie. It was like eight. I think it was before The Fly, even. Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Frost. I thought I remember. Oh, I thought maybe that was like maybe early '90s. Was it?
Or
Was it
was it
before the
90? I
Fly?
thought it was before The Fly, though. I thought I could be wrong. I don't
I
know.
could be wrong too. I thought I remember that being like 90 or 91 or something, but Mr. Frost. That was before the Fly?
I'll have to look that up later.
Okay.
But too bad.
Okay.
One of my normal viewers, who comes in on Sunday, Steven, like he like looks stuff up or knows stuff. But I guess because I'm doing a show during the day, I mean, even though I did advertise, he might be busy during this time. So,
Oh,
but yeah, he's really good at looking stuff up. He'll probably be able to replay and leave a comment, be like, "Yep, that's what it was."
nice.
Like,
Yeah, I have not seen that one yet, but he does. If what I remember, he kind of is he playing like a bit of a sinister character in that movie.
well, like he's deaf, like he's all serious, and like people don't believe who he is or whatever. It's been a while, but yeah, it was a good
Okay.
one.
Yeah, I have not seen that one, unfortunately.
But yeah, I had mentioned that to him. I had him sign my Fly DVD, of course, when I met him at MegaCon, and I had mentioned Mr. Frost. He's like, "Oh, thank you." Like he was surprised that someone brought up something else besides that, or a lot of people had Jurassic Park stuff too when they were getting signed. It's like, and especially for also Elijah Wood was there. Everybody, Lord of the Rings, and I had the remake of Maniac to have him signed.
Oh, I'm sure he'd love that.
And I told him, I'm like, yeah, you were good in The Good Son. I named like a couple movies, and then I was joking with him. I go, and I think you were in Lord of the Rings, small part. He started laughing. He's like, yeah, just a little bit part.
Yeah.
I mean, he was cool. Stephen is here. Oh, hello. He said, that's funny. I just mentioned he just came in.
I knew it. I had a feeling it was after The Fly. I had a feeling because it's one of those movies I kind of remember peripherally.
I was wrong.
No, it's all right. It's all good. I mean, again, it's not. It's actually a title I haven't heard that one in years, and I thought I remember being like early '90s. So, all right, thank you, Steven.
Yeah. So, I told you he would know it. I'm like, I don't know if he's here or not, but he's the info guy. Yep. So that's cool. Perfect. So I don't have to do it. Yeah. What was I going to say about some deaths and stuff? So you tell, what's he saying here? Some reason, his Chromebook is acting up, so comments aren't coming through on it. Well, we got that one, so, but,
all right.
But thank you, though. Yeah, I'm glad you came. So yeah, we're talking about deaths and that. What else was I going to say? When we were talking about haunted houses and doing that many performances and stuff and taking all that time, how long was the time on the production of Haunt Season for you?
Well, for me, it's really, really hard to say. The production itself had 28, I believe, total shooting days. I think Jake might have to check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was 28. To be honest, I can't remember how many of those I had worked on, but regardless, no matter what day it was always a great day on set. And I definitely. I'm trying to remember how many was there. I'm trying Yeah, it's hard for me to say. I honestly, it was such a whirlwind, like working on that production. I wish I could recall how many of those days I was there. Because we shot this about 2 years ago, and we shot it. I think we started. I think the first week in August, and then I want to say kind of formally wrapped up maybe like the end of October, and we had some random like pickup shoot days here and there to get some extra shots we weren't able to get
Oh,
when the
volume's getting a little low there. I don't know if
Oh,
you want.
sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Sorry. I also have there's also a train in the background that's pulling up too. I don't know if that played into any of this, but yeah, I can't quite remember. I do remember that we had, I think, about 28 shoot days.
So
Again, very good question.
yeah, and then Steve said he was a fan of you since Chicago Fire.
Oh, nice. I'm glad that I have one fan. That's awesome. Yeah, that was actually really fun. That was my first television gig, actually.
Okay. Let's see if we could vote someone back, maybe joining the cast. He'd honestly like you to return. We'll definitely watch Haunt Season when it hits Tubi.
So. Oh, that's super sweet. And Steven, you're so sweet. I don't deserve such generosity, but yeah, we're currently in a window with Haunt Season where it's like the rental period. So I think like it's like the first 90 days. It's you can buy or rent it from wherever you stream your movies, and then after that, I think it's going to go out to some other alternative streamers. I don't know exactly which ones it's going to be going out to yet, but yeah, if once it hits this another round of streamers in a period of time, yeah, I would love to be back to talk about it.
So, but yeah, if you can, though, it's definitely worth renting, though. But I mean, like, if we want sequels, though, gotta get it out there, support it.
Oh yeah, we'll take whatever support we can get. Especially during the month of October. If you are interested in seeing Haunt Season, everybody, I would love if you would go rent, buy it if you can. Also, very very important. Which again, this is the stuff that you realize once you've been through you've been through productions like this, is that reviews are so vital for our creative team, because that is kind of what they use for metrics to kind of figure out how successful the movie is. So if you're able to rent it, buy it, and review it afterwards, that is just, there's no greater gift for our team. So all y'all watching, please rent, buy, review, however you want. We're just grateful for whatever support we can get.
Or even share it out there, whatever. Just get it out there.
Yes, please have watch parties. Have watch parties. That would be wonderful, because it's just so much fun to watch with a group. I actually just had a watch party that myself in my living room about a week ago, and it was just so much fun. You got to see it with friends. It's just it's so great. It's so much fun to watch with the group. And if there's anybody in the Chicago area that is watching, we are having a screening of it on Monday the 21st at the Davis Theater. So you can just check out our Haunt Season social media handles at Haunt Season Movie on Instagram and Facebook. We have information as to where you need to go to purchase tickets if you are in the Chicago area on Monday, October 21st.
That's always great too, being able to do screenings, because a lot of things now are just like coming to digital, and some places have gotten rid of physical media, unfortunately. What are you thoughts on physical media versus streaming?
Oh, I'm old school. I'm a big fan of physical media. I love having the Blu-ray, DVD. I love that. I love the special features. Like, I am a nerd for special features. So I always, like, one of the things that I love doing when I would go to when I would go to Best Buy or any other like big box store, and I would just get DVDs, I would love looking over the ones that were just like the special edition features, where you had the behind the scenes featurettes and like other documentaries, even stuff that came out around the time of the release, like teaser trailers, other like regular trailers, like that kind of stuff. I love. So I mean, there's just no real way to get that from streaming in a lot of ways, because you're just getting the film itself. So I feel like that's something that's getting to be a little bit more rare as time goes on. So I am absolutely old school, and I'm DVD, Blu-ray, with all of the features that you want to throw at me, like all the way.
Plus, if the internet goes out, you got your DVD player. So.
Exactly. And that has happened to me more often, than I'd like to admit, where I just won't have internet. And so I'm like, okay, well, I got, my DVDs here. I'll like pop in a Blu-ray for a little while they're working on the problem. So yeah, and that's another thing too. If your internet goes, it's like your viewing options are rather limited. So I mean, I still have a VHS player.
Yep.
Like I still have that. I still have a bunch of old VHS tapes too. Like I am absolutely a physical media guy.
And unfortunately, there's some stuff that might not be on DVD or Blu-ray, and it's like I wish it was, but you still got it. So
exactly, there's a lot of stuff that will never see the light of day on on a Blu-ray, because for I think for all intents and purposes, it was either there could just be multiple parties that have rights to something, or it just could be one that is just very obscure and not very well known. I think that's kind of the sad thing about the decline in physical media, is that a lot of projects are going to kind of go with it, and that's like really really sad that there's going to be like these works that people just won't know about because they were relegated to VHS and they haven't gone any further than that. So that's a whole other conversation.
yeah,
but yeah, it is kind of sad. So I'm trying to do my best to keep it alive, man. I'm doing my best.
So it's a shame how they're getting rid of stuff. Like Best Buy now doesn't even carry movies in the store anymore. Best Buy, I went in
really?
there. They don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it shows what I know. I haven't been in one in a real long time, so that that would make sense. But that's so sad.
And then I think it's only in Australia, but I think they're going to stop either Disney movies aren't going to be produced there anymore or something, or on physical media. I don't know. It's just crazy how they're doing it. It's like you got to have it,
Steven.
I don't know what they're doing. It's crazy. Like, I mean, what is it like? And that's another thing, like sharing movies and stuff. Like some of the independent movies would be like at video stores, and it's and that's how they would say, oh, tell friends like, watch this movie. This is how this gets going. And let's see, someone else just popped in. Ellie, what's up? Or Eli, I'm sorry.
What's up, Eli? Thanks for joining, man.
So, let's see. Oh, Steven was saying something too. He'll help promote you. He'll share you out.
Steven, I love you. Thank you. So sweet. Yeah. Anybody that can help us promote this, we're a small little independent film. We're small but mighty. So any help that we can get from y'all is just, it's a gift. It's such a gift.
So it's like, and that's pretty much like how Terrifier started too. And look at it now, beat out Joker opening weekend. It's crazy. So.
Who would have thought, that we would be seeing that? Like that's just wild to me. But it makes sense. I mean, horror is it's a real profitable genre when you do it right. So yeah, it's not surprising. But yeah, let's hope we can make Haunt Season a franchise. All of us, let's do it.
Let's see. Anna was saying thanks for the help. I guess she's a part of it too. I can't really see the picture.
She is in the cast. She plays the character of Taylor, and she's brilliant. She's so good. You got to see it for you, please, everybody. There's gold in this cast. She's absolutely one of the best.
Yeah, I remember her now. There, it's just these little pictures. It's hard to see. It's like, I'm sorry, who are you? But thank you. So,
of course.
But yeah, so we'll definitely share it out. And like I said, after the show, you can like send me different like websites or links or whatever, and I'll put that in the description so people can check it out. So
that's really great. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
So, what other challenges did you face on Haunt for you, do you think? Was there any, like, for example, when I was doing this talk, one night it rained, like what kind of challenges, whether it be weather or anything else that you can remember?
There were times where rain was a bit of an issue sometimes. It didn't hurt us that much, but I do remember we were all kind of waiting for the rain to subside, and it was so hard because we were lucky. We had a great on location audio technician named Andrew Ford working with us, and he just like his sound was absolutely great. And there were so many times where we just had just a lot of just ambient background noise. Like rain was one of them, because I remember this one scene that we were doing in like kind of like the main area of the backstage area of the haunt where all the actors were getting ready. Rain was just pouring down for the longest time, and it was pouring down on like the roof was it was just so loud, and I'm just surprised that we had like usable audio for this one day, because it was just raining all day. And I think like that was an issue. maybe like once or twice. Um, but as far as like other challenges go, I feel like there weren't like too many. But when we started, it was probably we started in late summer, and there were times where like some of the areas of the haunt that we were working in were like just really hot because I think there was a trailer they had built. They had basically built this whole other area of the haunt that was like I just remember like that actors and crew coming out of this trailer just like drenched in sweat like maybe our first like couple of days, and like that was hard. But once we got through some of the hotter weather. It was a little bit more.
I think the sound is a little low again. I don't know if you want.
Oh, sorry. Here, how's this? Is this a little better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. So yeah, rain was probably like heat sometimes would impact would be a little impactful depending on like the what certain actors were wearing like as far as their outfits go. But all in all, we didn't have a lot of like huge challenges that we had to work through as a production. I think we were actually really lucky in a lot of ways because again, this was a small independent film. And so, we didn't have anything that really came out of the woodwork to really, that gave us like super huge challenges. So I think we kind of lucked out in a lot of ways there. A little bit of weather stuff, but other than that, nothing too big, thankfully.
And I see, welcome. Someone new just came in and is actually asked about the channel, but Eric from says hi from Ohio, and thank you for joining us both.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Much appreciated.
All right. Let's see here. Steve said, Steve also was saying, happy to promote you if your crew agent or manager doesn't care. So I guess you have an agent, I assume, or are you just everything yourself?
I do. Okay. I do have an agent here in Chicago. She's a lovely lady. So I would. Yeah, I'll take whatever help I can get. So, Steven, hey, whatever you want to do, my friend, I'm down. So, thank you. You're very sweet. You have a wonderful audience, Steven. They are very, very supportive.
Yes, thank you.
You're lucky.
Yeah, you got a good bunch here, and some new people happen to show up too. So I'm glad that worked out too this new time. So
yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, thanks, Eric. So Eric, how did you happen to stop by? Just out of curiosity, where you saw this promotion, so I know to promote more there because I did like share this out on Facebook and X and Slasher. So,
and yet your base is covered. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
play around, Steven.
I do what I can. I want to get out there. I mean, as many people and shows as I've done, I just it's hard though. It's a challenge to get out there, and I mean, no matter what you do, you just got to find that right way to get out there.
It is. I think we are, I feel like doing any kind of creative endeavor is really hard. I think nowadays we're very lucky in that, we all kind of have our own microphone in a sense, but it just trying to get that attention is just really, really challenging. So, so I absolutely feel you there. I think that's definitely what made trying to promote haunt season challenging is because you have a lot of horror movies that are coming out this month and a lot of really good work. And so trying to get through all of the noise and get to all of the people that you want to reach and let them know about your project is a really, really big challenge. And so having like this kind of avenue is really just like gold for me. Mm-hmm. So I'll take whatever I can get. So it's I'm just very lucky. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky I get to be on here with you. I'm lucky that I get to talk about haunt season. It's all good to me, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, definitely agree on the challenge there. But the horror community, independent horror community, YouTube community is like a good, strong way though to help get it out there. I mean, now we got all this social media. Before, like I was saying, word of mouth, telling a friend, renting a movie, that was the way it got out before. So,
yeah. And it still works. Word of mouth is still, it's still incredibly powerful,
mm-hmm.
So you look at something like Long Legs. I mean, they had a very, very good marketing campaign, and I think word of mouth, ultimately really, really helped that film as well. So it's a tried but true method. That's people talking to each other is still a very, very powerful way to get them to see anything.
Mhm. Another good marketing technique that now they have the sequel out, but when they first did Smile, where they actually had people out that like they had like people just creepy people out smiling to promote it, and that was really clever. So
That is pretty good too. I didn't realize that's what they did, but that's super creepy. I love it.
yeah, like I think they had it like I don't know if it was a baseball game or basketball game or something, but they'd like, of course, have them on the big monitor screen, but they'd be standing up and they'd have like the just smiling advertisement.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
What do you think that, like, I mean, obviously you're doing your own way of promotion, but like if you had like more, not production value, money or on your side or whatever to promote it, how would you like think a good way to do Haunt would be? Like something in person, like if you could go out and do like a live show, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. That's again, that's a good question. I don't really know what I would do if I had more money that I could put towards marketing.
advertisement. There we go. That's such a hard word. There we go.
I mean, I would love to help pay for more ads that we can bombard people with. I guess. I mean, that would probably be one. But yeah, I think it would be fun to. I think it would be fun to make some old fashioned maybe some old fashioned 80s style commercials that you would see on local television, like something that kind of plays on a something that has like a weird grainy VHS kind of look to it, that was like us talking about the Haunt, trying to get customers to come in, and maybe like people die during the TV spot, I guess, and then you see Haunt season come right up. And, I think there are fun ways that we could probably we could do that. But that's probably what I would do with Haunt season. I'd probably find some good old throwback TV commercials that we could lampoon, because it, again, like I said, it's very much a throwback horror film in a lot of ways. So I think trying to capture the old 1980s teaser trailer kind of look and feel, I would probably do. That seems like that would be my speed, I think.
Let's see. Paul just showed up here saying, "What's up?" Hey.
What's up, Paul? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, for a different showtime, this is pretty good. Got some good interaction and stuff going on.
You got some pull, Steven. Look at you.
Apparently.
Does this give you a little bit of faith? You can do this anytime, anywhere.
Apparently, yeah. I say I'm on. I guess they're coming on over. So,
you got some sway. Look at you.
So, let's see. What else was I going to say there? I was about to ask something, and then any advice for people who want to get into acting?
Yeah, try to get training if you can. You don't necessarily have to go to theater school in order to do it. Although I think a theater training is really helpful, because it is the actor's medium, and so you just are going to you're going to get very well-rounded, hopefully a well-rounded training and education by going to school. But if you were just interested in wanting to act in films, take an on-camera class. Take them with really good people that know what they're doing. If you're in a big market, and even if you're not in a big market, just make your own work. I think that's a big thing, especially nowadays. If you want to, work begets work, and if you want to work in this industry, you got to get out there. You got to, meet people. You have to audition. A friend of mine named Mickey Sullivan, who I've taken an acting class here in Chicago, he's a big fan of, getting out there and meeting filmmakers, going to events, if they have them, going to screenings, become a fan of other people. And that's a way for you to expand your network. But I would definitely say what's helped me is just really keeping on top of classes. I still take classes now to just keep myself fresh and keep myself going. So I would say, because the only way you are going to be able to get better is if you work at it.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else you want to tell us about Haunt season?
Anything? I could tell you so many things about Haunt season,
but can't tell without revealing too much, of course.
Of course. Again, like I said, I'm very anti-spoiler.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But, what I will say about Haunt season is that I think it is absolutely made by people who love horror movies. Like when you see Haunt Season, you will see it is very much a love letter to horror movies of yesteryear, and it's a love letter to haunted houses, to the actors that work, in this community. So I think that it was made by the horror community for the horror community. And the performances are really fantastic. And I'm not saying that because I'm in the movie. I'm saying I've seen everybody work, and everybody in the film is really awesome. And it's just very engaging, like wonderful, wonderful, down to earth, natural performances that I feel really elevate the film a whole lot. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in seeing good performances in horror movies, you should go see Hunt Season.
Yep. Let's see. Wow, been on an hour and 10 minutes. I got one last question, or if you're welcome to stay on longer, it doesn't matter if you want to talk other movies. I mean, it's cool, whatever.
Go for it.
But one last question that I always ask is, what's something that you like to, or fans may not know about you, whether a talent, a hobby, or anything that you could share? Or collections, or anything, like whatever.
A talent or a hobby that they may not know about? I don't know if I can do it now without the music, but I can. I'm pretty good at reciting "Poison" by Belle Biv DeVoe. That's probably, I would say that's one. Maybe the Humpty Dance by Digital Underground, like just like old school hip hop. I like a couple of those songs I'm kind of a big fan of, so I can kind of recite them by heart. I don't know if I could do it now at this moment because I would need the.
Well, yeah, you don't have to do it now. Just like stuff that fans may not know about you. There's something interesting.
Another thing fans may not know about me, I have a twin brother here in Chicago with me who it's so people don't tend to know that. I feel like people who know me and then suddenly like meet him, it's kind of a surprise because I don't really. It just takes too long to explain the truth sometimes, and there's no real natural easy way for me to like bring up my brother in conversations. So people who know me will just like stumble upon him and they'll think, oh my god, this like Adam just totally ignored me when I saw him like on the street or something. So that's a nice fun little tidbit, I would say. Can't think if there's anything else like a fun talent or a hobby. I love old fashioned, like I love like old school Nintendo 8-bit like video games. Like I love them so much.
Did you ever play? Well, since you love Nintendo, do you remember the game Skate or Die?
I have Skate or Die. I love Skate or Die. That's a great game. That's some of the best music. It's such a fun game. Oh, I love that game. Yeah, that's one we've had for a real long time. Yeah, I love Skate or Die. Contras are really like I really like Mike Tyson's Punch Out when I was a kid. Like that was a really good one.
Paperboy was always fun too. I would trash the windows.
Paperboy is so much fun. I haven't played that one in a little bit. I probably wouldn't be very. I need to brush up on that one. But that one's good. The Metroid is really really fun. Coming up like Double Dragon 2, like so many titles. But yeah, I'm an 8-bit Nintendo themed.
Then there was, I forget the title of it, but there was like a karate or ninja one where you would jump, kick them, and then there were the different levels where you went up the level to each boss. It was like a karate one.
Was it Ninja Gaiden?
It wasn't Ninja Gaiden. No, he was actually in like a karate gi or whatever.
Oh, was it Kung Fu?
It was. Oh, you know what? It was probably just Kung Fu. That makes sense.
Kung Fu was fine. That one I really really do like. Those old Nintendo games, like the ones with like the old-fashioned Nintendo logo, those are so hard to beat. Those are so hard to beat.
And what sucks is like now you can save games and everything. Before when you were playing, you couldn't save it. You're like, oh god, no. You're like, I just got to this level, I can't stop. I'm about to.
Yeah, you have to beat it the old-fashioned way. Or I remember when I was really young, I was probably like 7. I remember my older brother was playing Super Mario Brothers 3, and we had to leave the house for a little while because I think we were like. It was like on a Sunday, and I think we were going to church, and then we were going to breakfast afterwards. So we literally like let the game. We were on like the 8th world, and we had to like put it on pause and hope nothing happened to the console while we were out. And then we got home, and he ended up finishing out the game and beating it. And it was just like Yeah, that's what we had to do. That's what we had to do back in the day. It was scary.
That was the pressure because you just want.
Yeah, you just had to play through, and if you didn't do it, you have to try all over again. We're very spoiled nowadays. We really are.
Yeah, it's like it almost sounds like back in my day, we don't have any of these save progress.
Yeah, which I'm sure I probably aged myself a bit, but yeah, it definitely worked on your gameplay. I must say, it made you a much better player, or you just weren't able to beat it, and you just kind of call it a day.
They had of course, I know you remember, like, we would have to blow into the cartridge and everything.
I do that so much, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for the game. It's actually horrible for the game itself, and yet it's
everybody did it. Everybody did
it. So
and then you had to sometimes, like, when it would go up kind of fuzzy up and down, like you would have to push it, slide it to the left to get the cartridge to the left for whatever reason, like it wasn't in, like you could feel it, you had to slide it over and then it would work. It's like,
I mean, we were lucky that maybe a couple of years after that you at least had the top loaders, which would be so much better at playing some of these games. But yeah, those old school Nintendos where you just sorry about my language, but you just have to like pop it down, pop it up, pop it down, pop it up, trying to get like whatever you could to get it to work. Oh, it was a nightmare.
It's like, just play already. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And Duck Hunt, that dog pissed me off. I always wanted to shoot the dog the way he just laugh at you. I'm just like,
yeah. Although that was one that, I remember, God, again, I know we're way off topic right now, but I still remember when we got our first Nintendo when I was a kid, like there was like Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers when they came in that dual video game when you would, that would come with the system. I totally remember that. Oh, you're bringing me back, Steven.
Good time. Back
into my childhood, more movies and video games.
That's what it is here. We talk about everything: movies, video games, whatever. So yeah, but you can I totally forgot about, but now thinking back to it, like we didn't know it at the time, but you can control the ducks with the controller. There's like a way. There's some thing where you can control the ducks.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever known that.
Like if you Google it, you can use the control and play. But yeah,
that's what. See, look at that. I learned something new every day. Thanks, Steven.
Yep, you're welcome.
That's so funny.
See, I think Steven said he was seeing where Haunt was playing. I think that's what he said he was looking up.
We only had a few screenings out in LA. We actually had. The film was playing in a couple of theaters out there on October 4th through October 8th, which was the day we started streaming. And the only other screening that we have planned right now is our screening that we're having in Chicago on the 21st. So unfortunately, it's not playing in any other theaters outside of Chicago on Monday. So anybody, if you're wanting to watch Haunt Season, go watch it wherever you stream your movies. I think you can get. Are you still there?
Yeah.
All right.
You're back. Yeah, you got disconnected for a second. I was like, oh, but yeah,
no, perfect timing though. But yes, if you want to get it on Google Play, Apple TV, Amazon, Fandango, it is there, readily available for you whenever you want to go streaming. So that's going to be your best bet at this point.
Yeah, it was. I saw, which kind of say like about showing the screenings of places, which it should. I was talking to my friend last night because we saw Terrifier 3 at a drive-in in Dothan. So we drove a couple hours to get to a drive-in. There's either one there or Ocala. Ocala wasn't playing it, but like drive-ins would play those type of movies. So it'd be great if they were still around and, be able to do some screenings like that.
Oh, same here. Same here. But I highly suggest definitely seeing it with a group. If you can see it with friends, that's great. It's definitely one of those movies you want to see with a group.
Yeah,
it's okay to watch by yourself, but you want to get some friends in on it. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Let's see. Anna was saying she loves drive-ins. Yes, they're fun.
Oh, so great.
It's a shame there's not as many that they're closed. It's like, come on. I actually almost like them more than movie theaters a little bit.
I've never been to a drive-through.
You've never been through a drive-through? You're just gonna drive right on by. Oh, good movie. You mean drive-in? I said the same thing. Drive-in, but yeah.
But there's I think there's one near. I think there's one like that's just right outside Chicago. I think if I remember correctly, I feel like there's one around here, but I haven't. It's just life hasn't brought me out there yet. So, but yeah, I would love to. This seems like a perfect movie you would be able to see me drive.
Yeah.
I would love that.
It's like, gosh, you haven't been to a convention yet. You haven't been right. You gotta.
I know. I've been very sheltered, Stephen. I don't know what my problem is. I gotta get my butt in gear, man.
So I think you said you're in what, Pennsylvania? You said, or Pittsburgh? I'm sorry.
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I'm currently in Chicago.
Oh, you're in Chicago. Well, there. I don't know if it's Monster Mania or Flashback Weekend. Actually, I think is in Chicago. It's called Flashback Weekend, and that might be a good one because I remember. I don't know if they're still around. I got to look. I think they were a couple years ago, but since I haven't traveled to Chicago in a while, I just forgot about that convention because there's so many I go to. MegaCon, Spooky Empire, Days of the Dead, Texas Frightmare is a good one. I don't think I've been to any of the Monster Mania ones, but I mean, there's so many different conventions out there if you look it up. So
yeah, I'll have to give it a look. I mean, you would know. You got an encyclopedic knowledge of horror conventions. Like,
yes.
Anytime I have a question about it, I'm just going to come right to you.
Exactly. Yep. I've been around. I'm a constantly going.
I love it. I mean, just some of the people that you've been able to interact with has been incredible. I'm sure you could probably make a book one day about just all your experiences.
Yeah, I could be like Anthony, how he's doing his memoirs. I could just put together so much. I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, of course, it's great meeting, the guests, the other actors and stuff, but even outside of the great guests, you meet other fans and friends that, you have that common interest. You're not like, oh, what's this weirdo watching again? It's all just a good time. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe one day, maybe we'll see if we can all collectively try to make haunt season a thing. Maybe we could end up going to a convention one day and make this thing happen. What do you say?
A haunt season reunion. There you go. That would be fun.
I would love that. I mean, I love seeing our cast whenever we can. I'm actually excited to see them on Monday. We got a lot of cast members coming to our screening, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. So if we can make this thing huge, maybe both of our dreams will come true. I don't know.
It looks like Steven, I think he might have been talking about some games there. I guess Joust was a game. He got into that when we were talking Nintendo there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know if I played that. What was the Legend of Cage?
Legend of Cage. I don't think I've actually ever played that one either, but I'm aware of the name.
He said with jumping, 1985 game. Okay. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Well, like when I got a Nintendo, I was born in 85, obviously the Horror Freak 85. But so yeah, I was 4 when I had a Nintendo. So
but I have such fond memories. So many wasted hours playing Nintendo. I wouldn't say wasted. It was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, it's I miss it. I miss the fact that I can't use all my old controllers and stuff just because you can't do them on the new like LCD screens and stuff. You needed like those old like analog TVs with like the glass front. It's just it's so sad.
Oh, I was actually going to mention this, and then Steven brought it up, saying he still owns the Power Glove.
Hey, Steven, I do too. They're great. I love those things. It's probably sitting in like my storage unit somewhere, but yeah, I have that. I have an old Rob the Robot. Like,
the running mat for the Olympic one, where the pad.
Oh yeah, what was that? That was the wasn't the power mat, was it?
Maybe they call it power mat. I don't know, but I remember there was like the Olympic one where you would run on it and jump.
Yeah, it's world-class track meet. I loved playing that game. That was probably some of the most exercise I got when I was a kid. So yeah, I love
well, since everything was inside video games.
It was the power pad. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know. Sorry. I know. I'm getting so distracted by Nintendo right now.
So it's fun. I like talking about that stuff too. No, I talk about even Jeff Kirkendall, a fellow Polonia pal that I have worked with, and he actually wrote the stocking. But he's big on Atari games.
Oh yeah, I love Atari. That was I think the first console my family had. It was the Atari 2600.
Yeah, and I can't remember, and I swear this game exists. That I'm not like imagining things, unless I'm like from one of those other. Time areas, like how people the Mandela effect, unless I'm from a different timeline, but I swear there was this game where you had to protect a cow from being abducted, and it would be going moo, and if you didn't like get the ship, it would go into the ship and it would like just come out in like pieces, like almost cow mutilation. Like it was like I would just let the cow get abducted because it was so funny how like it looked like meat legs coming out of it.
I mean, I don't remember a game like that, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't around. Like I believe you when you say it.
Like
But
I
yeah,
swear I have this image of it going moo.
yeah, I wish I knew that. What other ones did I have? Had Jungle Hunt was a big one. Midnight Magic was a fun pinball game.
The
Yeah, these
quicksand
are
in that
such
jungle.
esoteric references for your audience. I apologize, everybody. You came here for the horror, and you're getting Nintendo and the toy.
There's everything on my channel, whatever, movies, horror, non-horror, whatever. I've had like, I mean, I've had he's only done one horror movie, but Rolando Malini, who is Baby Joker next Friday, he was on for a couple of hours and talk about Family Guy, and he was in Mayans, of course, and a bunch of stuff. So I try to do a variety. I mean, yes, I love horror, obviously, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's nice to have the variety though.
Well, it's good. It's good. You're trying to keep the broadest possible audience you can get. You just talk about everything. I love it.
So it's like the show can be G-rated to R-rated. It doesn't matter. I see you got your cat there, huh?
I knew it was going to happen at some point. I think she's feeling a little lonely.
I'm sorry.
They come up and visit every now and again. I know. I know. She just hears me talking and not paying attention to her.
What's her name?
Her name's Minnie.
Mitty?
Yeah, she's one of two cats I have in this room right now. She's an old girl. She's getting up there, but she's super sweet. She's super sweet.
Well, I know. I don't think he's in here right now, but another show, 8 Questions with Patrick, have Cheetah Will View. He's co-hosted. He actually co-hosted with me with Joe Lynch a couple weeks ago. But he has a cat. A cheetah, so he loves cats. So he'll probably be leaving a comment on this, I'm sure.
Nice. That was a fun conversation y'all had with Joe. I really like that one. Brian Krause, that was fun. Brian Krause is actually one where I remember. I know he's mostly known for Sleepwalkers.
Yes.
But he did this one movie called, I think, An American Summer, way back in the day. I think Brian Austin Green was also in it, but it was a movie about like this kid from Chicago that comes to stay with his aunt during the summer, and it's like a coming of age story, and he becomes a surfer, and Brian Krause plays like one of the two, what's probably the best way to describe him. He's like one of the asshole surfers in there, and he has so many lines that my brother and I would just quote over the years, just like his line delivery. And it was so fun when I saw that you interviewed him. I'm like, oh shit, that's Brian Krause. I remember him from, probably everybody would know him from Charmed or
Leo,
or Sleepwalkers, but I loved him in American Summer, and because he has just some really funny quotable lines. So you got some fun heavy hitters on here, man.
Yeah. I had actually met him a couple of times. It was years in between. I forget when it was, but he was at Spooky Empire both times, and him and Will. Oh gosh, what's his name? Someone else, I forget. But anyway, I'll mention that story. It'll come to me after the show. But me and a couple friends, we were like talking to him out by the pool, like late in the morning, the after parties and everything, and we were actually talking about his pets and stuff too, and just random conversations. And then I don't know what came up, but I guess like eating healthily and candy or somehow came up, and he was like, "Ooh," he's like, chocolate is my weakness. I see chocolate, I'm like, no. He's just like, it was so much fun. And he remembered it. I saw him like when I did that interview. I had seen him just not too long after, because at the first time I met him, I didn't have my show, and then I did the second time, and I mentioned it, and he remembered, hanging out. He's like, "Oh, Spooky Empire is always a good time," and he goes, "Yeah, I'll definitely come on," and exchange different info, and he came on, and yeah, so
that's really cool. That's really cool. I love that. Oh, that's so much fun. What do you say, Tommy? Excite Bike was a staple NES game. Yes, Excite Bike. That's another good one. I love Excite Bike.
I'm trying to remember if I don't remember that one. Like one of my favorite games, it's not Nintendo, it's Sega, but do you remember Road Rash?
I never played Road Rash.
That's fun, because you could like get chains from them and clubs, and you could hit people off the motorcycle when they're going by. That was so much fun.
No, I never played that. I really loved I loved Ultra Beast was a favorite. I actually really liked Moonwalker. That was probably my favorite game for the Genesis. It was just so much fun to play. what other ones were there that I really liked? So many. I had Aladdin, I think, for the Genesis when I was a kid. Again, I'm dating myself hardcore right now. Steven has the Gyromite bot too. He had Rob the Robot. Look at that. The Gyromite. That's you can't play that game without a Rob the Robot. Like some of those are freaking impossible. So again, super esoteric references. I'm sorry, everybody in the audience who was not into Nintendo.
All right, that's okay. I got a lot of fans of video games too. It's like horror, conventions, video games, horror. It's like whatever, comedy movies, TV shows. It doesn't matter. And if you have any time, what TV shows do you like to watch?
That's a great question. I'm kind of a big fan of like well-acted dramas. Actually, right now I'm working my way through Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
That was good.
Yeah. Mike Flanagan series, yeah, that one I'm really digging right now. I just have to say, I mean, I could probably tell you some of my favorite series.
Okay, yeah.
This is so cliche. It's so cliche, but I really love The Wire. That was like one of my inspirations to actually want to make the park.
I've actually never watched the Wire. No.
I'm just like, I think like a white dude saying they like The Wire is the most cliche thing you could probably tell somebody. It is really good. It is so well acted. The writing is incredible. David Simon is just one of my muses. Like he's freaking genius. So I would definitely like that's one of my favorite series. I really love. I don't know why. Mayor of Easttown was another one that I just really love. It's so well done. So well done. What's another one that I'm watching? I did watch. I can't remember the name of it. It was Mark Ruffalo did a series on HBO several years ago where he played twin brothers. I can't believe I can't remember the name right now. Really cool. Yeah, I can't remember. But if only something's true, I can't remember what the name of it was for the life of me, but it's one of my favorite series. I should know the name if it's one of my favorite shows. That I really dig. I'm trying to think of the other TV shows, but yeah, I kind of am a big fan of like the well acted, really grounded dramas. Like I eat them up. Like I love them. Yeah, those were probably ones that I would probably recommend. I don't, they're definitely not a waste of time by any stretch.
Yeah, I was saying earlier. Of course, Steven said was a fan of Chicago Fire, and my mom's watched that show since the beginning. I just started watching a couple episodes, and that and PD. Which episode of Chicago Fire were you in?
I was in. Okay, so I'm trying to remember the actual number. I want to say it was like maybe season 10. And I was probably maybe the second to last episode of the season where I play a father whose daughter gets a fishing hook stuck in her eye. And we're basically like right on the Chicago River. And the geez, I'm so bad. I wish I knew their names. The paramedics come in and help us and help like take like the hook out of my daughter's eye. But yeah, I basically play like the nervous father. So, but yeah,
and the volume's a little low again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I play the father of this girl who gets hurt, and then like the paramedics come in and try to like basically treat her on the scene. I think it's season 10. It might be like the second to last episode of the season, I believe. So yeah, that was my first TV role.
Okay.
And so that was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So I have that. And if we're talking about upcoming work, I also, in addition to Haunt Season, everybody go watch it. I also have a TV series coming up called Greatest Prison Escapes that I can't remember where exactly it's going to be streaming. It's probably going to be like Pluto TV. It hasn't gotten a US release yet, but I think it will at some point. It's about these reenactments of these famous prison escapes that have happened over time. And I play a German prisoner in one who helps break out my buddy out of prison with like a tank, basically. So that's fun. So Greatest Prison Escapes is one that's going to be coming out sometime in the near future. I don't know exactly when, but keep your eyes peeled, everybody.
Okay. Do you plan, besides that, you plan on writing and directing any more series or a movie or any horror movie of your own, maybe? Or
That's a great question. I have various ideas in various stages of development that I have to put pen to paper and work on. I don't have any plans yet to do any writing and directing. I would definitely be open to it in the future. A lot of my current priorities are really just trying to just trying to book as many acting gigs as I can, and just really try to work on my growth as an actor, and just and just that's been my main priority right now. But yeah, if anything changes and I got something come down the pike, you'll be one of the first people I tell.
yeah, sounds good. And since you've done acting and directing, how is it, being behind and in front of the camera, and what experiences have you taken to both?
I would say what I really learned in directing is that's where I really discovered how much I love watching actors improvise. And that's actually something that I took away from that process, because I had a really insanely talented cast. And there were times when there were certain scenes that had a lot of improvisation in them, because one of the things that my co-writer and I imparted onto the cast was that we really do I really do love my words, but I want you to be able to make this character your own. So if you have any impulses in the moment, go with it, because that's what collaboration is about. And I want this to be able to be a fun collaboration, and I don't want you to feel boxed in by what we wrote. So if you have anything you want to add, just do it. And so that was something that I took to heart after directing, is realizing how much letting actors go can be really, really awesome. Because if you have a good actor that you're working with, like, that actor is like a Ferrari, and you don't take a Ferrari to the grocery store. You want to get that thing on the road and watch it run. So I kind of taken some of those lessons to heart as an actor myself, like being open to improvising and just like letting stuff go. Because the end of the day, a lot of things that were improvised in my series made it to the final cut because I loved it so much and it really worked. I would probably say embracing improvisation as a director from actors is really something I took away as an actor, and employed it a decent amount. And I've been very lucky that some of things that I improvised in projects that I've worked on since my web series have made it into the final cut themselves, and it's helped me become a better actor, because you just get more in the flow. You're very much in the moment when you're not necessarily confined by just the lines in the script.
All right. Yep. Definitely good advice, and how you feel and what you learned and
I was
everything's
probably
been.
very animated when I said that. I don't know. I felt like, was I coming across a little too strong there? Yeah.
I love it. I've learned. Aren't we all animated when?
I think so. So apologies if I was like a little bit like, whoa, dude.
No, it's cool. I mean, hey, it's fine being excited and of whatever we do, and express it, and that's what it's all about anyway. And if people don't like how we express ourselves or how we act or answer, that's their own problem.
Yeah, agree. Yeah.
So, yep. All right. Well, I guess hour and 37 minutes now. So, I want to get some lunch. I don't know about you or whatever.
As you should. Yeah, that an hour and 37 is that's a long.
It's lunchtime. I mean, I as you've seen, I've even done 2 hours and 40 minutes, but I mean, I try to keep it a good, hour and a half, because sometimes it's too long, sometimes it's too short. You just got to have that perfect point.
Yeah, I think this was a nice. I think this is a nice length for this conversation. I couldn't agree more.
So thanks again, and everyone who came in, and Stephen, Tommy, Anna, Eli, Eric. Let's see, my mom, of course, can't leave her out.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Peggy.
So yep. Let's see. Oh, Stephen said, let me see one last thing here. What did he say? I supposed to add Adam.
Oh yes, okay. That's what it is. I know this much is true. Yes. Thank you, Stephen. Great show. You all should see that too after you watch one season.
Okay. Well, I'll check that out too there. So yeah, something else to promote there. There we go. But also, yeah, like I said, once we get done, just message me, like I guess those short websites and everything, and any other website that you can think of, and I'll go ahead and add it in the description. And yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm doing this Sunday yet, if I'm just going to do a theme show or if anyone's coming on. But yeah, just stay tuned, folks. And looks like one more thing real quick. My mom said, thanks for coming. And Steve said, oh, for the Mark. Oh, that's what he was saying. The
That was the
HBO
Mark
series.
Ruffalo series, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was. Gotcha. Okay. I was confused by that. I thought he was saying something you were in.
No, I wish. I would kill to be in that show. But no, I really do appreciate you giving me time on your platform today. I really do. This means so much, and anything that I can do to get the word out about haunt season, I'm always gonna jump on it. So I really do appreciate you giving me this opportunity today. It's been really great speaking with you.
All right. Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you. All right, everybody, tune in next time. See ya.
See you, everybody.